Hello! Some time ago, I became a super extrovert. I was constantly stepping out of my comfort zone, and I really saw a huge change in myself. A few months later, I feel like I'm in the same rut again. Every day, I beat myself up that I'm turning into an introvert again. I really don't want to be a closed person, which many people perceive as humble and withdrawn. I want to be myself, speak in front of an audience, make new friends, not let them crush me, and conquer new heights. I notice that my self-esteem has dropped drastically. I constantly doubt myself. I find myself staying in my comfort zone more and more often. And on top of that, I don't care about people's opinions. I feel like I'm in a vicious circle that I can't get out of. I'm really getting desperate and I don't know what to do. I'd be happy to read your recommendations in the comments. Thanks in advance.
Wow. If any of that sounds familiar, I want you to know you are so not alone. That feeling of taking two huge steps forward only to feel like you're sliding right back where you started, that's a deeply, deeply human experience. So in this breakdown, we're going to explore exactly why this happens and, way more importantly, how to navigate it with some real compassion for yourself. We're going to unpack these feelings not as some kind of failure, but as a map that can actually guide you back to yourself. So let's dive in.
Okay, first things first. We have to just acknowledge where we are. That feeling of being totally trapped, of watching yourself repeat a pattern that you just desperately want to break. This first part is all about validating that experience, about sitting with that feeling of being caught in the loop.
So what's really going on here? Well, this slide kind of breaks down the engine of the whole cycle. It all starts with something pretty simple, just observing yourself. I'm staying in more, or I'm not speaking up like I used to. But then almost instantly, that simple observation turns into harsh self-criticism. It becomes, something is wrong with me, or I'm becoming an introvert again. And that self-judgment, it triggers a stress response in your brain. And what does your brain do when it feels attacked? It wants to find safety. It wants to retreat. And so the very act of beating yourself up for retreating actually causes you to retreat even more. And boom, that's the vicious circle right there.
Now that we see the trap, let's talk about how to dismantle it. And this next part, this is probably the single most important message you're going to hear today. Before we analyze anything else, we have to build our foundation on this one fundamental truth.
I really want you to just take a breath and let that sink in for a second. Seriously, what you're going through is not a personal failing. It's not some flaw in your character. It's a profoundly human response to being mentally and emotionally tired. It's a natural rhythm of growth, and I promise you, it is so much more common than you could possibly imagine.
Think about your social energy like it's a phone battery. You wouldn't expect your phone to be at 100% all the time, right? Especially not after you've been using it a lot. Sometimes you just have to plug it in and let it recharge. That's all this is. I guarantee you, the most courageous, outgoing people you know have days or weeks or even months where they need to pull back. It is not regression. It is recovery.
Okay, so if it's not a personal failing, then what in the world is it? This section is all about shifting our perspective. It's about trading in that harsh internal story for one that's not only more accurate, but, and this is crucial, a lot more compassionate.
This slide shows just how powerful a simple reframe can be. On the left, you've got this heavy, permanent, judgmental label, I'm becoming an introvert. It sounds like a fixed identity, like you're moving backwards. But just look at the right. We have a description of a temporary state, a drop in self-esteem plus mental fatigue. See the difference? This isn't a personality change. It's an energy crisis. And you know the beautiful thing about states? Unlike identity, they're temporary. They can and they do change.
And that brings us to this idea of the comfort zone. We've all been taught to see it as this enemy that we have to constantly fight and conquer. But think about it. A hospital bed is a comfort zone for someone who's recovering. A home is a comfort zone from a storm. The problem is never that you need to be in a place of safety and recovery. The problem is that we punish ourselves for being there. It's a pit stop, a necessary one, not your final destination.
Okay, so once we understand the cycle and we've reframed the problem, how do we gently begin to move forward? This whole section is about action, not giant, terrifying leaps, but small, manageable microsteps that help you rebuild that momentum.
Here are 3 core strategies you can literally start using today. First, just watch your language. Swap that fixed, heavy label for a description of a temporary phase, like, I'm in a phase of contraction. This gives you room to breathe and to change. Second, and this is a big one, forget trying to be your old self. That's way too much pressure. Instead, just aim for one tiny act of mini extroversion a day.
And third, when you feel that fear of judgment creeping in, don't become one with it. See it for what it is, an overprotective bodyguard that's trying to keep you safe, not the real you. So what does mini extroversion actually look like? We are not talking about giving a speech to 1,000 people. No way. It's about stating an opinion in a meeting. Even if your voice is a little shaky, it's starting one short conversation. It's holding a boundary by just saying no and resisting that powerful urge to over-explain why. Every single one of these is like a small deposit into your confidence bank account. It might not feel like much at first, but I promise you, over time, these small acts build on each other and they rebuild your trust in yourself.
And this really is the crucial point, isn't it? The goal here is never to become fearless. Fear is a normal, healthy part of our survival toolkit. The goal is just to learn how to take that one small step forward while fear is sitting right there next to you. You let it come along for the ride, but you make sure you're the one in the driver's seat.
As we start to wrap this up, I want to leave you with one last fundamental truth. This whole experience isn't about something that you've lost. It's about something that's just temporarily depleted.
I mean, think about it. The only reason this situation is so painful for you is because you have such a strong, powerful drive to grow and to connect. Someone who didn't care wouldn't be agonizing over this. The very fact that you are struggling with this proves you have deep self-awareness and this amazing ambition to live a full life. Your strength isn't gone, it's just tired.
And this, right here, this is the ultimate reframe. That confident, expressive, connected person you want to be, that's not someone you have to go out and build from scratch. You've already met them. You've already been them. They are already inside you. The work now isn't about becoming someone new, but just about finding small ways to give that existing part of you a stage again.
So I'll leave you with this question. Forget conquering new heights for just a moment. What is one small, tiny stage you can give yourself today? A single moment to state an opinion, to send that text, to say no, to just let that tired but incredibly powerful part of you back into the light. Because that is where the journey back to yourself begins.